Right lads, how's it going? Today I'm just going to be doing a quick little unscripted video on the dev server stuff. You've probably seen other content creators' video, but I may as well do it. It's easy content and I'm pretty tired today. But with the rank 8s coming, we may as well have a quick look. This may potentially be it is going to be meta changing. Starting things off with the F-16A. I do apologise if you hear my dog in the background. He is currently sleeping, but he may awake from his rest anytime. But anyway, F-16A, this is the early, I think it's a Block 10 for the Americans. We also get one for China, but it's not in the game yet. It should be coming when the update goes live. There's rumoured to be one for Italy, but I think Guardian have messed up and not actually put it in. But we do also have an F-16 for the Israelis as well. I'll go over the differences between these two jets in a minute, but first let's cover the American one. Because let's be honest, no one's going to grind out the Israeli tree. I couldn't be bothered doing it, so you probably can't either. So at the minute, we do have a very high top speed. I think the F-16 at high altitude can break Mach 2, I believe. It's quite famous for that. It does have a very high power to weight ratio. I think it's powered by a General Electric engine. Oh, it's Pratt & Whitney. Pratt & Whitney F100 with 9,000 kilograms of thrust when afterburning. This gives it a rate of climb of 305 meters per second. But its battery rating 11.7. And it comes behind the F-5A here. Quite nice, really. But anyway, the F-16, 11.7, so the worst thing you're going to go up against is a 10.7. But anyway, it's very, very powerful. We do get a radar, but we do not have any radar-guided weapons at the minute. We do also have CCIP for cannons, rockets, and bombs, which is very, very good. This thing is probably going to be the best cast plane in the game, ironically. Then also have the fantastic M61 minigun, the A1 variant. We've only got 512 rounds of ammunition, which is a little bit less than the F4 Phantoms, but still more than enough to do a lot of damage. But after the AIM-9GA, which are still pretty decent, they're not the best missiles anymore, but we do get the AIM-9Ls, excuse me. But anyway, this has got 30 Gs of maximum overload. You guys know the AIM-9L by now. It's a cancer at 9.7 and 10.0, but at 11.7 it should still be quite good. We then have not a large selection of bombs, we just got 500 pounders. You can carry quite a lot of them though. I wouldn't really like to use these in ground realistic battles. At 11.7 you're going to be going up against Tunguskas and Tor M2s, and you don't really want to be getting close to the battlefield if you can help it. We do also have 2,000 pound bombs, but again, same problem really. You're going to have to get very close to the battlefield to actually deploy these accurately. Even though you do have a CCIP, it doesn't really work from high altitude. You have to get quite low to the ground to actually get that reticle marker. Do also have napalm, which was dead on arrival. Still don't know why they added this far into War Thunder's career, or War Thunder's life really. Should have been added like 4 years ago. Then also have Mighty Mouse. Again, same as the bombs really. They're effective, but you have to get suicidally close to the battlefield to actually employ them. Then have the AGM-65Bs, so I believe these do get thermal, maybe not actually. I believe these are the TV guided ones. So I don't think these things actually get thermal imaging, which could be a little bit of a problem on night maps, for example. You probably won't be able to use them. The weapons that I would use personally, though, for ground realistic, are the GBU-8s. These things are absolutely lethal. They don't have as much... they do have... They don't have as much penetration, obviously, but they are high explosive weapons. They're basically TV-guided 2,000 pound bombs. You can launch these things, if we go back to it, I believe you can launch them over Mach 1. It doesn't say here, but you can launch these things while going supersonic. They're incredibly useful on the modern battlefield. If you take a quick look at this thing, the reason that this plane is so good at CAS is because you get this weapon as well, the GBU-8. Very, very effective on the battlefield. And that pretty much covers all the weaponry. I would take this for ground striking, so drop tank, GBU-8s, and then 4 AIM-9Ls. You can also take 6 AIM-9Ls for the air-to-air role. But yeah, no radar guided weaponry, but that isn't really that big of an issue in my opinion. So the Israeli one is pretty much the same as the American one, except you don't have any guided weaponry, with the exception of the Mavericks. So you don't get the GBU-8s on this thing, you still get the 6 AIM-9Ls. So it's a little bit of a downgrade when it comes to its ground strike capabilities, but most people aren't hyped for the F-16 for its multi-role capabilities. They're more hyped for its air-to-air in realistic, sorry. It comes after the Kafir. Quite a difficult tech tree to grind these rails. You've got to grind out basically all these 2 trees to get this. Well, I guess you could get that as well, but you have to get 3 vehicles in rank 7. I guess if you have the Kafir C2, you only have to get 2, which makes it a little bit easier, but the F-16 in these rail tech trees, slightly better camouflage. The USA one's a bit bland in my opinion. I'm sure the modders on the War Thunder Live page are going to sort that out very quickly. But with that being said, let's take it for a little bit of a test drive and see what this thing can do. Alright, so first thing, as you'd expect, we do have a pulse Doppler radar. You can also change the scan. I'm not sure whether this, well, I guess it is just a standard radar. I don't think it's a PISA or an ASA yet. It is probably scanned though. I don't know. Anyway, so we're taking off with 4 AIM-9Ls and 4 GBU-8, so the performance of the plane isn't going to be as good as it will be with clean wings or just with the AIM-9Ls. But I just want to give you a little bit of a demonstration of what this plane can do. So as I'm sure you can hear, we also do have an RWR in this plane, which is incredibly annoying. Can't see the floor yet. Let me get a weapon lock. So we can get an external weapon lock and then GBU away. So the good thing about the GBU-8s is they don't require any sort of guidance from the plane itself. It's not like a laser guided bomb where you have to maintain a laze until impact. So that is why these things are probably the best CAS weapons in War Thunder at the minute. Once you get a lock, you can just launch them and then go and dodge an incoming enemy aircraft missile, really. Let me see. The only downside is that they do not have thermal imaging. But we don't have a T-pod yet. As you can see, nice and easy to use. I forgot to put my bomb fuse to 0. Alright, so just taking out an air-to-air load. You can see that we've got the AIM-9Ls with us, 6 of them. The plane does accelerate very quickly, as you can see in the top left-hand side of the screen. Try and get a nice all-aspect shot here on this MiG-15. His airframe probably isn't moving fast enough though to get an all-aspect shot. The plane does roll quite well. That missile's not tracking. Plane does pull well. The F-16 is going to be a lot better at low speed in dogfighting than pretty much any other plane. Maybe with some exceptions of some of the smaller aircraft like the F-5A. But you're just going to have an insane amount of thrust. That isn't really going to matter. Scratch 1 MiG-15. We'll go into a bit of a dive here. See what top speed we can get up to in a shallow dive out, really. So imagine an F-14 is spamming AIM-7s at you from over there. And we're going to run away. So we've got our reduced speed running at about 1400 kilometers per hour. And we rip at about 1458. So, can't really complain about the F-16. It's not going to be game breaking in my opinion. 6 AIM-9Ls is a good loadout, but it's not really any different for them to say something like the AIM-9Ls on any other jet. I think it's going to be good. Quite like it, to be honest. I'm probably going to use it more in ground realistic for these. This loadout is insane. Mach 2.0 multi-role fighter with GB8s. Insanely good plane. Anyway, boys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.